You're watching 5 Star Live. East Tennessee's #1 post-game high school football show. Live on location from the biggest game of the week. Live interviews from the winning coaches and players, along with highlights from other big games from around Tennessee. Your host, Jesse Smithy, with decades of experience covering high school sports, and his 5-star preps team will update you on games as they become final, and will break down region outlooks and what's to come for your favorite football teams and top players. Now, get ready for the most comprehensive high school football coverage in Tennessee on 5 Star Live.
Everybody, welcome into 5 Star Live right here at Blankenship Field in Oak Ridge. The Wildcats win in the first round of the Class 5A playoffs, 30-7 over Soddy Daisy. I'm now joined on the set by Oak Ridge quarterback Mitchell Gibbs. Mitchell, congratulations on the win, man.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this win tonight. Early on, it seemed like Soddy Daisy had all the momentum. Their quarterback was getting a lot of gains on the ground, and they were kind of controlling the clock. And what were you guys talking about over there about just how to get back into this game?
Yeah, I think we had a slow start, but, I mean, once we had a few drives to get under our belt, I mean, we kind of just focused in, like locked in, and just played better.
Tell me what the difference is when you know, late in the year y'all had some really big games against Powell and things like that to get your seeding, but what changes mentality-wise in a player once the playoff comes? Does it just feel different?
I think we get more confidence going into playoffs, especially like a 4 or 5 game winning streak, and like our defense is like unstoppable. Like they really do a lot for us, and I can't thank them enough.
What do you think the turnaround has been for this Oak Ridge team? You're looking at the halfway point of the year. Y'all are maybe going to be a 4 seed. Maybe at that point you're kind of struggling, kind of teetering. What was the turnaround for this team?
I think it was the West game, like earlier in the year. We just came out and we weren't playing like ourselves, and I think that game, like, it made us better because, I mean, after that game we kind of knew how to play teams. So.
You had a couple touchdown passes tonight and just really impressive throws, and just wonder how much work goes into that in a weird off season. Like, how did y'all manage to maybe even keep chemistry, or did you have to develop that in the preseason?
Yeah, during quarantine, actually, Brandon and I went to Blankenship a lot and threw the ball. I knew he was going to be special. He's only a freshman right now. I knew he was going to be special, so we worked with Jonathan too, and Kendall came some, and it was just great to come here and just work.
We look ahead to Ray County. I know you guys are preparing week to week, but have you peeked ahead at all? I mean, kids have access to Huddle and social media. Have you peeked ahead to kind of see what Ray County might look like?
Yeah, I've looked at them a little bit. They definitely do have some size, but I think it'll be a good matchup and a great road game.
Have you been down there before?
I actually haven't. I played him here sophomore year, and that was when I was a backup, but I got to start that game. I think it was my first career start, but I've never been to Ray County. What's
the message there from Coach Gaddis after the game? There's teams whose season came to an end tonight. You guys are still alive. What was said there in the huddle after the game?
It wasn't really short and sweet. It was kind of just like we really need to focus up and be careful, especially about COVID-19 going around. And we got to convert in the red zone and just stick it in the end zone when we need to.
Well, Mitchell, thanks so much for hanging out so long after the game. I think the game ended, like 30 minutes ago. So thank you so much for hanging out. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck to you guys next week.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Mitchell Gibbs, quarterback from Oak Ridge High School. They win tonight 30-7 over Soddy Daisy, and we welcome in Kevin Smith, longtime defensive coordinator in this state. And let's go ahead and roll the package from this game tonight, Jared. I'm going to have to kind of peek around the camera, so I'm going to rely on you. You can see these highlights a little bit better than I can tonight. But as we were talking with Mitchell early on, Soddy Daisy came out. They throw an interception right out of the gate. Oak Ridge gets it, and you think, okay, Oak Ridge is just about to blow these guys out. Oak Ridge did not take advantage of that interception, and Soddy Daisy really kind of controlled probably the rest of the first quarter.
Yeah, 3 first-half turnovers for Soddy Daisy. You see here Oak Ridge was in cover 1 there and just did not cover up the quarterback. And really the whole first half, the quarterback for Soddy Daisy did a good job scrambling around, making plays. Oak Ridge really didn't show up early on. It was a little lackadaisical on both sides of the ball. But you saw here late in the first half, my man at defensive end, Jackson Adams, had 2 big sacks, very active. We've liked him all year, Jesse. And then Mitchell, we talked about it at halftime. I really liked how they got the short passing game going, and then a perfect pass out in the flat for a touchdown where he led his fullback into the end zone. It's just a great drive there and got Oak Ridge going offensively.
Kendall Jackson looks better now this year, here late in the year. I think that was a part of the reason why Oak Ridge maybe kind of hit a little bit of a slump midway through the year, but here late in the season, he's running really well. There's a pass from Mitchell Gibbons to Cole Adams to get in there for a touchdown, and Bryce Taylor there, number 3, I thought really had a really strong third quarter, running the football, getting involved in all facets of the game, but Oak Ridge just really couldn't get those touchdowns in the second half to put them away. They got some field goals, though. Yeah,
but I'll tell you this, Jesse, it's good to see their field goal kicker and special teams playing well, because in playoff football, you got to be able to run the football, you got to be able to play defense, you got to throw it just enough, and then your special teams has to show up for you. And if you get points on drives, and we talked about it, struggled a little bit in the first half getting points off turnovers, but defense was very solid. A shutout in the second half for Oak Ridge. Offense moved up and down the field, and like you said, got some good running in the second half. And then I really like this Brandon Hayward, young man, number 13, freshman receiver. He's going to be a problem, folks. Keep an eye out and keep his name.
Mitchell, is that Hayward? Yeah, that's Brandon Hayward over there. It's kind of hard to see the number there, but, yeah, fantastic throw from Mitchell and a great catch. And we've actually written a story about Hayward and about how special he's going to turn out to be. I think he's a really good basketball player, too, and could help out with the basketball team this season. They're expected to be pretty good, and there he is again.
Well, and I loved what Oak Ridge did. They really, I mean, Soddy Daisy was playing so far off with their corners and their secondary. Oak Ridge just took what the defense gave them. And sometimes offensive coordinators won't take what's given to them. They want to throw the home run ball. I thought Oak Ridge, their coaching staff and their players did a really good job of taking what Soddy Daisy gave them tonight and really drove up and down the field.
Yeah, you see Bryce Taylor, number 3 there, really putting in work in that third quarter. And when you have 2 guys, not just Kendall Jackson, but 2 guys that you can rely on in the run game, and you can run the ball successfully in the postseason, you can pick up some W's pretty fast.
Well, and they're 2 different backs. I mean, Kendall Jackson, man, he is so hard to bring to the ground. He's bouncing off people. It takes almost the entire team to get him down. And then the young man came in the third quarter. He was like a jitterbug, moving, great agility, good quickness, was able to hit the hole in a hurry. So they have 2 different kind of backs that can really help them moving forward.
Oak Ridge goes on the road to Ray County. Ray County, coached by Mark Pemberton, somebody that you worked with while you were at Catholic, somebody that you won a state championship with while you worked at Catholic. What is Oak Ridge in for next Friday night?
They're in for a physical football game, and you know, they're in for offensive lineman cutting. They're in for power, jet sweep. You're talking about offensive linemen diving at the feet of defensive linemen. And to me, this is going to be a really physical football game. I love Oak Ridge's defensive front. They're active and big. Oak Ridge has a very large physical offensive line themselves. I think this is going to be a slobber knocker, in your face, tough, old school football game, playoff football game. And whoever can run consistently the best and avoid turnovers is going to have the advantage next week.
Ray County knocked off Fulton tonight 14-0, and you kind of thought that was going to be a tough game for Ray County just because of that Fulton defensive front that you've talked about all year long.
Yeah, I mean, they're massive and they're active. And so when you have that, it's hard for that wing bone or wing T offense to move the football. You just kind of knew, and we said it actually out here on the field tonight, because Fulton has to play both ways, we thought maybe in the fourth quarter that defensive line would wear down a little bit, and you saw that tonight. They wore down in the second half, and Ray County was able to put them away. But I tell you, for Ray County and Coach Pemberton, any win against a Fulton football team, I don't care what year it is a good win. They have nightmares about Fulton.
Yeah, some unbelievable matchups by Catholic and Fulton through the years, especially there in the mid-2000s and the mid to late 2000s. Fantastic matchup next week, Oak Ridge and Ray County.
I think it's going to be one of the better football games in the state of Tennessee, honestly, Jesse. Okay. I think it's going to be a really, really tough football game. If you can get out and see this one, this is going to be an old-school high school football game. It's going to be a really nice matchup.
Thanks, everybody out there watching us tonight on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Show always presented by John H. Coleman. Remember, if you're turning on the heat, it's cold tonight, something happens with your heating, give John H. Coleman a call or a text or get them through the website. They'll be out there promptly to help you get your family or your house warm again. I use them. Kevin Smith uses them for maintenance and for just all kind of service. So definitely look them up. They've been in East Tennessee for decades upon decades. Just a great, great local company. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to go to the Waffle House Hotline. Halls High School got a big win on the road up at the Castle at Tennessee High School. We're going to be joined by Scott Cummings right on the Waffle House Hotline. We're going to look at scores from around the area, highlights. We're going to look at the playoff pairings for round 2 right here on 5 Star Live.
Located in Anderson County, just off of I-75 at exit 122, Rocky Top Realty stands ready to give our clients a real estate experience like no other. While we are located in Anderson County, we work in all of Knoxville and the surrounding areas. Our staff will get to know you and your real estate needs. We will work in tandem with you to achieve your forever home, build site, vacation home, or investment goal. Find us online at rockytophomeinfo.com or give us a call at 865-498-0183.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Since 1945, the John H. Coleman Company has been serving the East Tennessee area. We wouldn't have made it for 75 years without the experience and hard work of our quality employees. When it comes to heating and air conditioning, our goal is to make your experience stress-free, whether buying a new unit or servicing your current equipment. The way we do that is making sure you have the information you need to make the right decision. East Tennessee is our home, too. We've proudly served you for 75 years and look forward to serving you for many years to come. John H. Coleman Company, trusted since 1945.
Cooper Container, your corrugated packaging specialist for the East Tennessee area. Proud sponsor of high school sports in the 5-Star Preps coverage area.
Great ones make the plays. The dedicated ones never quit. Weekend warrior or professional, all athletes get hurt. And when you do, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic's comprehensive sports medicine team is ready to take you on. The power of results.
It's great. I mean, I love worshiping and learning about God and learning better ways to be a man of God.
There's no way that you can come here and your relationship with Jesus not get stronger. It's just so powerful. The Holy Spirit is just so powerful at this camp.
I just feel like this is a lot more than just like people coming together and having fun. Like, it just helps people grow towards Christ.
We'll be right back.
back to 5 Star Live, presented by John H. Coleman. Now my favorite moment of the show, we go to the Waffle House hotline, joined by Scott Cummings, head football coach at Halls High School. They win tonight on the road, 22-15 at Tennessee High, the Castle, they call it up there in Upper East Tennessee. Scott, thanks for joining us tonight. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Okay. It's kind of quiet on the bus. You're on the road back, and it's quiet. I mean, you guys just won a playoff game. What's going on the bus right now?
I know. I mean, we're not a very good celebrating team, I don't think.
Okay.
I've learned that. My boys got to learn how to celebrate right.
Well, I mean, you always hear act like you've been there, so they're just acting like they've been there, I guess. So, but
Yeah, we'll use that excuse anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on the win. Again, 22-15. I was looking there on social media late in the game, and I saw there was a big goal line defensive play. Tell us what happened and how you guys were able to preserve that 22-15 lead there.
Well, they were driving on us, made a couple of big first down passing plays, and they got down to, I don't know, roughly the 12-yard line, something like that, I guess. And linebacker Sawyer Adams gets a pick at the 1-yard line to seal it.
Wow. I mean, to witness that, to witness Tennessee High going down the field, you're probably thinking maybe overtime. You're probably thinking, are they going to go for 2 if they get down there?
Sorry, hey, I can't hear anything. There's like there's a lot of noise on your end there, I think.
Okay. What I was saying is, as they're driving down the field and they're approaching the goal line, or is your mind racing, thinking maybe overtime, or are they going to go for 2, or what's kind of going through your mind as the head coach there in that situation?
I can barely hear you. I can hear all the radio. I can hear the comments going in the background, but I can barely hear you.
Okay. We'll try to effort and get this fixed.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. You got me. Okay. We'll try this.
Better.
All right. We'll go this for a third time on this question. As they're driving there late in the game, and I'm sure as a coach, are you going ahead and thinking a few steps ahead, or are they going to go? Are we going for overtime? Are they going for 2? Or like, what are you thinking of at that point?
Oh, no doubt about it. We had used one timeout. And, my gut was saying that if they scored, my gut was saying that they were going to go for 2. Mm-hmm. They have a Wildcat package with their Virginia Tech commitment. It goes back to Wildcat, and they had success with it a couple of times during the game. And my gut was saying that they're going to go Wildcat with 24 if they score and try to get the win. So we were trying to preserve 2 timeouts. We're fortunate to have a pretty good passing game. With 2 timeouts, we'd have a chance to at least go down and get in field goal range at least. So that's kind of where my brain was. But luckily, Sawyer Adams dove to the turf and got his hands underneath the ball and intercepted at the 1-yard line. And then they had a kid throw a helmet, whatever, and got a 15-yard penalty. So we were able to just take a knee and 3 times and get the game over.
How did you guys negate Jaden Keller? You mentioned the guy going to Virginia Tech. He's a 3-star athlete, 6'3", 200 pounds. And how did they use him, and how did you guys try to defend him?
Well, they put him all over the field. They put him out at the number 1 wide receiver spot. They put him in the slot. They motioned him, put him at Wildcat. They try to motion out of the backfield with another kid and, try to escape 24 back over the middle and try to get you over rotating type of stuff. So, they used him in all kinds of different ways. When they were in certain positions with him, then like when he was out wide, then we would go man with him and put Camden Johnson, a sophomore kid we got that's, not the biggest, but very skilled and can fly. So, if they put him in a slot, then we couldn't do that. So we just had to play technique, do the best we could. So he got us a few times, but our kids on defense just kept grinding it out. bit, but didn't break a few times. Broke a couple, but kept just making a play. And then on offense, our forte's been, use our speed outside, kind of hurt teams by throwing it over top. So we made one more play than they did.
Ty Humphrey became the program's all-time leading passer I saw tonight on social media. He's not your prototypical quarterback. He's not going to be an NFL player, but for what has he meant for Halls High School and this rebuild of yours, this building this program, I should say?
Well, Ty's a great passer. I mean, he might not fit the mold of a, 6'3" pro-style quarterback, but he is a pro-style quarterback, and he's got one of the most pure releases, the strongest arms that I've had, and it shows in the fact that tonight he actually became Halls High School's all-time leading passer. So he didn't have a ton last year passing in the new system and everything, but he started as a sophomore most of the year, and before I got there, and combined with the yards he had last year and all he's had this year, he's the school's all-time leading passer. So, people say what they want, but he gets it done and has got a very strong arm and very accurate arm.
Last thing, go ahead.
It's pretty cool though to be here, my second year and get him over that to be the school's all-time.
Last thing with you, and you guys move on to round 2. You rematch with Central, a team that you beat in the regular season. What do you think will be different, maybe out of Central scheme-wise, this second time around that you expect to be different from the first game? Scott, you with us?
I'm live. I can't hear. I know you're talking over there, but I can't make it out.
Yeah, I was just asking, what do you think might be different this second game with Central? You face them in the second round. Do you think you'll see anything different out of them scheme-wise?
I'm sorry, Jesse. Right. Are you talking about our receivers and passing game against their secondary?
No. Let's Scott, can you hear me? All right, we'll go ahead and let Scott loose. We've had some technical difficulties. They're way up there in Upper East Tennessee, and I'll send Scott a text later and tell him thank you for joining us on the program tonight. That's Scott Cummings, head football coach at Halls High School. They win 22-15 over Tennessee High, and Jaden Keller, the Virginia Tech commit, they will rematch with Central next week in a second-round game. Remember, Halls upset Central just a few weeks ago. See if they can pull it off yet again. All right, we're going to get another break. When we come back, we're going to look around the area, look at some scores, some highlights. We're going to break down second-round pairings right here on 5 Star Live, presented by John H. Coleman.
Cooper Container, your corrugated packaging specialist for the East Tennessee area. Proud sponsor of high school sports in the 5 Star Preps coverage area.
Great ones make the plays. The dedicated ones never quit. Weekend warrior or professional, all athletes get hurt. And when you do, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic's comprehensive sports medicine team is ready to take you on. The power of results.
It's great. I mean, I love worshiping and learning about God and learning better ways to be a man of God.
There's no way that you can come here and your relationship with Jesus not get stronger. It's just so powerful. The Holy Spirit is just so powerful at this camp.
I just feel like this is a lot more than just people coming together and having fun. It just helps people grow towards Christ.
Located in Anderson County, just off of I-75 at exit 122, Rocky Top Realty stands ready to give our clients a real estate experience like no other. While we are located in Anderson County, we work in all of Knoxville and the surrounding areas. Our staff will get to know you and your real estate needs. We will work in tandem with you to achieve your forever home, build site, vacation home, or investment goal. Find us online at rockytophomeinfo.com or give us a call at 865-498-0183.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back to 5 Star Live. Kevin Smith back in, Jesse Smithy in our third segment. We're going to start to break down tonight's actions. Looking around the area, we start in 1A. Cloudland beats Midway 38-33. Midway scored there late in the game, tried to get an onside kick, wasn't able to get that. Oliver Springs wins 60-22 tonight over Jellicoe, so it'll be Oliver Springs and Cloudland in the second round. Greenback wins 63-16. Kevin, we say this last couple of weeks, we hadn't talked about this Greenback team much because they hadn't played much this year, but here they are in the second round with a chance to beat Coalfield, an undefeated team.
Yeah, and I think they've had a very tough start to the season and had some transfer there at one point, and so I think just getting them back in the flow of things, and they're a championship type program, so not surprising.
South Green wins tonight 35-0 over Cumberland Gap. Rockwood knocks off Happy Valley, so it'll be Rockwood and South Green in round two. Oneida falls tonight 28-14, and we're not used to seeing this out of Tony Lambert coach team. They were 4-0 at one point, lose their next four, then COVID hits, and then they lose tonight. This was not how it was supposed to go for Oneida this year.
Yeah, and they've got a star running back as well, and so I think they had a tough region this year, and that region is really good. Not shocked about the Rockwood score, but yeah, Oneida, a tough way to end their year, but they'll be back, man. Tony Lambert always does such a fantastic job with his programs. They'll be back and ready to go next year.
Mex County did not play tonight because of COVID with Cosby, so they move on. They will host Hampton. That's a really nice matchup, 9-1 against 11-0, I guess technically, there in the second round. Moving on to 3A, we got Pigeon Forge knocking off number 1 seed Claiborne tonight, 42-15 on the road. Scott Meadows really doing some big things back there at Pigeon Forge this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's got the smoke and mirrors going.
That's right.
It's a hard defense to defend. We talk about matchups. Playoffs is all about matchups for teams, and then it's also really hard if you play an option or a wing T football team. It's hard to simulate in practice, and if your eyes aren't disciplined on defense, these type of offenses can really mess you up in the playoffs.
They're going to go against their arch rival, Gatlinburg-Pittman, in the second round. GP won 41-0 tonight. Kingston holds on to win at Chucky Doak, a 2 seed, 43-42. I thought this was going to be like a 17-14 game. That's the way Kingston games have been going this year. 85 points tonight.
Yeah, we were shocked all night, and they're the lucky winner of playing Alcoa next week.
Yeah,
so
Alcoa.
Congratulations to Kingston.
Yeah, but I mean, still, they've had a really good season. They're 7-3 now, and Alcoa is going to be favored heavily in that game. They won tonight 42-0, another shutout by Alcoa. Loudon wins tonight 42-7. They advance as well. Class 4A, Elizabethton wins 56-34 over East Ridge, so it'll be Elizabethton versus East Hamilton in the second round. East Hamilton won 56-20 over Sullivan South. Greenville COVID game against Howard, they advanced to the second round. AC wins 49-8 over Granger, so here we go, 4 years in a row. Anderson County versus Greenville in 2017, 2018. It was state quarterfinals. Last year, Greenville knocked off Anderson County in the second round. Anderson County been seeking revenge against Greenville for 3 years now. Do they get it next week?
Well, I'll tell you this. It's funny talking to coaches the last couple of weeks, and especially with the first-round playoff buys that some of these teams are getting due to COVID. I've had a couple of coaches tell me that they wish they had not had those, that they wanted to keep the momentum going, to the next round and wanted to play the games. I had a couple of coaches tell me that they were actually okay with it, that they needed to get healthy. They needed that opportunity to have a bye week to work on fundamentals. And so I think this is a situation for Greenville. This may have been a perfect timing for them. Get some guys some reps, get back to fundamentals. And then if you're Anderson County, hey, put up or shut up. You've been talking about it. It's time to show who you are. It's time to show that you're a program that's a very good program, a solid program. Can you take the next step and beat the Greenville team?
Let's move into 5A, and Sevier County put up a fight for a while. It was 28-28 against David Crockett. David Crockett has a Mr. Football semifinalist in Prince Colley, who's committed to Notre Dame. I think he had 6 touchdowns tonight, 5 rushing and 1 receiving. They win 63-35.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. He's just okay. He's a good football player.
Next game, Jerry, let's go ahead and roll our South Doyle package. We had some highlights from South Doyle. Sean Gary rushed for 161 yards tonight for South Doyle. And, Kevin, I went back in and figured it up. He started the last 7 games for South Doyle. He's averaged 175 yards rushing in those last 7 games. I mean, had he been somebody that we might have known about coming into the year and played a full 10 games, he might have been a Mr. Football finalist.
No doubt. And let me tell you something. I feel privileged that us 5-star preps were at his coming out party against Sevier County. And he was unbelievable. He's got the whole package. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can outrun you to the sideline and score from anywhere on the field. And then he's tough. He can play. He can run it between the tackles and get yards after contact. But I'll tell you what, this is a good South Doyle defense as well. If they can throw the ball just enough and do some quarterback runs like this.
I haven't seen that. I mean, you play fake to Gary and you have Nick Barton run. That's what you got to have in the playoffs.
Yes, and I think they've got a chance. Man, I mean, look at that. I mean, he was so great vision, great cut, and then he's got the ability, to finish, y'all. I mean, this is a really good player, and he's had his coming out party this year, and he's going to be fun to continue to watch.
Yeah, so South Doyle, they win tonight 48-19 over Daniel Boone. So it'll be South Doyle and Sean Gary going to Davy Crockett with Prince Colley. God, what a matchup of talent that is. All right, we talked about Halls already. They won 22-15. They will go to Central High School, the 2-time defending state champions. They win tonight easily, 48-7. Morristown East had their quarterback out, had a wide receiver out for disciplinary reasons. So that game was pretty much went as we kind of expected. What do you think next week, Halls and Central?
Well, number one, Central's going to have to find a way to score on offense. They can't rely on their defense to score for them, and they can't rely on the special teams to do it. They're going to have to find a way to move the football. And Central defensively is going to have to find a way to stop Hall's stud receiver who was just flat out unstoppable against them in the first game. I think Central has to go back to the drawing board against this Hall's football team. If Hall's cannot, if they can avoid turnovers and control the clock, this is going to be one of those old school football games we just talked about. I think 5A, Jesse, next week is going to have a couple of old school, very smash mouth type football games. Great defenses. Solid special teams. Can the offenses get enough to get their team to victory?
West High School wins tonight 65-20 over Lenoir City. Walker Valley shocked all of East Tennessee, maybe even had some little waves ripple into Middle Tennessee. Walker Valley wins 21-16 against Powell. Powell put up yardage tonight, but they had turnovers. I saw a lot of people complaining on social media about the officiating down there. I don't know if there's any merit to that or not. I wasn't at that game, but 21-16, Powell loses, and that was unexpected.
Yeah, and for Walker Valley, congratulations to them. First ever, for what I saw, first ever home playoff game for them. So I just think, Powell had an up and down season, and that's not – that's not surprising necessarily from a young football team, Jesse. When you got a lot of young players littered throughout your team at all different positions on both sides of the football. You can have some really good wins, and then you can have some really bad losses. And we saw throughout the year they had some really good, crazy comeback games that they won, and they had some games we were kind of scratching our head, how'd they lose that game? So they just got to get back to work. They got a bright future ahead of them, and they're going to be just fine.
But again, it goes to show you the importance of getting, at minimum, a 2 seed out of your region so that you're in your home stadium. You're not getting jobbed by officials on the road if that's what you think happened. I mean, you just can't leave it up to others. You got to go ahead and take care of their business, and they just weren't able to win this game against Oak Ridge out on this field a few weeks back and fell to a 3 seed. And so, as you mentioned, a lot of young talent with that Powell team, and I'm definitely going to see them back in the mix in 5A.
And you just made a great point. We've talked about it for weeks, Jesse. Really, since about week 9, week 10, we've been talking about you really want a home playoff game. It is so imperative to stay at home and be in your spot, have your normal routines. It is hard to travel on the road in the playoffs and win football games.
So Walker Valley will go up to West High School, and we mentioned the other game there in the second round, 5A, Oak Ridge going on the road against Ray County. Moving on to 6A, Dobyns-Bennett held on tonight against a Cleveland team that was throwing the ball all over the lot, 42-35. Cleveland scored there late and tried to make a game of it, but Dobyns-Bennett's going to win. They will host McMinn County. McMinn County beat Bearden tonight 28-7. Got some revenge against Bearden since Bearden knocked them out of the first round. That's 2 football teams that love to run the football, and that could be an interesting matchup in round 2.
Man, this is another one. This is going to be a defensive football game. It's going to be smash mouth, hard nose. I mean, McMinn County is large and physical on both sides of the ball. They got some really good defensive linemen. We know what their running back can do. This Dobyns-Bennett team really impressed me against Alcoa. They drove up and down the field against Alcoa. They just could not score once they got in the red zone. If they can find a way to punch it in the end zone, man, this is going to be a really good football game. I'm excited about this one.
Both teams, a lot of seniors on their lineup and their starting lineup that they rely on too, so it should be a fun one.
Dobyns-Bennett's defense, 1 junior, everybody else is seniors. This is a very, very veteran football team.
Bradley Central and Farragut squared off tonight. Let's go ahead and roll those highlight packages, Jared. Farragut came in 7-3, ended up locking up a 2 seed, and without Eli Purcell, though, number 8, their Wofford commitment, star linebacker, a guy that they can use on offense, and they needed him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Anytime you lose one of your best players, it's hard, to win any game, much less a playoff game. So a tough loss for them. But this is a good football team they played tonight. I mean, this is a Bradley Central football team that can put points on people.
Yeah, and it's a team that they know a lot about. They've played them 5 times, I think, in the last 3-4 years. They've beaten Bradley Central every time, but there are a lot of close games in that kind of series with Bradley Central, and Farragut just couldn't get the offense going tonight. I know Schumann Z gets a touchdown here in just a little bit, but Dawson Moore, who's had such a fantastic year throwing the football, he couldn't get it going tonight.
Well, part of that reason is the defensive line for Bradley Central was getting after the quarterback, and if you're going to throw the ball as much as Farragut does, if you're not pass protecting, it's going to be a problem all night. And then you see here, Bradley Central's quarterback had a good night as well.
Yeah, just really hate it to see a senior like Eli Purcell, who's meant so much to that Farragut program, not to get to play in the postseason and play the last couple of games of the regular season. You see Schumann G get in there for Farragut. That gave them the lead at the time, I believe, 14-10. Bradley Central, though, comes back and wins 17-14. They advance to take on Maryville. Maryville did not play tonight. COVID win over Science Hill. And real quick on Science Hill, going into Week 11, they're thinking 1 seed. Now they didn't even get to play in the postseason. They fell all the way to a 4 seed after losing to Bearden, having some players out because of COVID. And I think I saw they had 20 kids maybe in quarantine and some other ones contact traced. And just that's an unfortunate byproduct of this COVID season that we're in right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're telling kids that are healthy to stay at home and not play football. But, hey, some people are smarter than me, I guess.
I keep prompting you for these things.
Don't get me started.
And you got to bite your tongue. So let's go ahead and move on. Kings Academy in Division 2A. They're 8-2. They did not play tonight. They're going to take on Nashville Christian. You know much about Nashville Christian?
Yeah, a very athletic football team. They're a big football team. This is a TKA team that has a lot of athletes and ability to score in bunches. They're going to have to be able to stop Nashville Christian from running it down their throats. This is going to be a very physical football game for them.
Did we get a final on Good Pasture?
28-21, Good Pasture over Webb.
So Good Pasture will take on CAK. And CAK, we got some highlights from CAK tonight, I believe. They were locked into a 12-0 game in the first half with Boyd Buchanan. This is a Boyd Buchanan team that they smacked around pretty well in the regular season, just 12-0. Do you think maybe playoff jitters? They're 10-0 for the first time ever. Now they got this pressure to win in the playoffs.
Well, I do, but I also think Boyd Buchanan is a really good football team. I've just been shocked all year by them. This is a 9-3 football team last year. Had a Mr. Football quarterback semifinals. He's back. A lot of players back. They got crushed by COVID and contact tracing early in the year. Actually had to cancel quite a few football games.
Oh, mercy.
But they,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good. But they and that's that D-line we've been talking about. I mean, dude, CAK's defense is legit. I think Boyd Buchanan was healthy tonight, gave them a battle in the first half, but then you see the stars and the players from CAK, the J.D. Dunns of the world running right here, and you got the defensive line. That entire defense is legit for CAK.
J.D. Dunn, congratulations to him for being the Mr. Football semifinalist, and CAK goes ahead and wins tonight 52-12. You see some moves there by Caleb Sparkman, and it's not just J.D. Dunn. They have capable wide receivers that complement that run game, and you see J.D. Dunn get in there for 31 yards, and they win big tonight. Getting that first playoff win, what does that do for a football team, a coach, a locker room?
Well, yeah, especially when you're undefeated, you just want to get this one out of the way. All right, so get this one out of the way, get the victory, and now get to work. They've got a good pasture team coming in here. We saw what the Middle Tennessee did. The Division II AA smacked everybody around tonight. They are deep in that region, and so they've got the first step for them next week is good pasture, and then most likely CPA. So this is going to be a good challenge for them.
Lastly, Grace Christian loses tonight against Chattanooga Christian, 56-42. I feel like it was a similar score last time.
Almost identical.
Just all offense, and Grace Christian giving up big play after big play and them trying to catch up all night. This is just a bad matchup for them.
Yeah, I mean, Chattanooga Christian can just flat out run the football, and Grace Christian's just not very big up front, so this was not a good match. We talk about matchups. This was the worst-case scenario for Grace Christian to be in, and unfortunately they drew it in the first round.
All right. Jared, let's flip through our graphics for our playoff pairings one time, and we'll end the show there. Let's go ahead and start in 1A. We'll get those up on the screen just momentarily. But, again, Oliver Springs is going to go on the road to Cloudland. Difficult road trip. That's a long road trip for Oliver Springs. Greenback going to go on the road to Coalfield. Those two teams are supposed to play in the regular season, did not because of COVID, so we'll see how that transpires. I know Greenback's kind of been a thorn in Coalfield's paw through the years. Moving on into 2A, Rockwood gets the win tonight. They're going to go on the road against an undefeated South Green team in Class 2A, and it's South Green's got a quarterback who is a Mr. Football semifinalist, a real big dual threat guy, Luke Myers, and Rockwood will have its hands full with him. Hampton gets the win tonight against Oneida, eliminates Oneida, so Hampton and Meggs in the other 2A second-round game. Looking ahead into Class 3A, Pigeon Forge will go on the road to take on Gatlinburg-Pittman. Kingston going on the road to face Alcoa. And hadn't gotten a final from Signal Mountain and Upperman, but looks like Loudon will be hosting a playoff game there. Going into 4A, defending state champion Elizabethton will host East Hamilton in a second-round game. There's that Greenville-Anderson County. That's probably where we'll be next week. I think the TV game might be a Class 5A game, so I think we're going to head up to Mavland with the fireworks and the dog. Have you been to Anderson County? Y'all played up
man,
in here.
We had some classics against Anderson County.
They were in y'all's region
yes,
back then, yeah. So,
classics.
So it's a big show up there, and hopefully they'll have us there again. We were there in the first round last year. All right, looking ahead to 5A, really busy bracket there for 5A. South Doyle going to go on the road to Davy Crockett. We talked about that. Sean Gary at running back versus Prince Colley at running back should be fantastic. Halls versus Central, the rematch. Walker Valley pulls off the shock of the night, knocking out Powell. They will play at West High School. Oak Ridge goes on the road to Ray County. Into 6A, McMinn County at Dobbins-Bennett. Just a smash-mouth game there. Bradley Central will play at Maryville. And Kevin Smith, just lasting thoughts from tonight.
Well, we saw kind of in the smaller divisions, 1A to 3A, we saw a lot of blowouts. And then in the upper divisions, we saw some really good football games that I didn't necessarily know that we would see. And so I think we've got some really good matchups, which in the playoffs always happens. It's win or go home. But I think every possession counts, and that's what's the difference in the playoffs is you got to pay attention to all the details, and you want to play at home, and you survive and advance. And we got some great matchups next week. And I also want to give a lot of props to Oak Ridge. This place out here is fantastic. Awesome. If you've never been to a football game here, it is a beautiful place to have a football game. Love that the kids get to play on a field like this and an atmosphere like this.
Yep. 5A, we've said it all year. It's been unpredictable. It was unpredictable tonight in the first round of the playoffs. Cannot wait to see what round 2 holds in store for us on 5-Star Preps. Thank you guys so much for watching the show tonight on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I invite you to go to YouTube. We just released Game Film, Episode 5 from Loud. That's kind of like a documentary, kind of Last Chance U kind of feel to it. Hop onto our YouTube channel and find that. It's unbelievable. Probably one of my favorite episodes that we've done. And so for Jesse Smithy, for Kevin Smith, for Daniel, for Jared, thanks so much for watching 5-Star Live presented by John H. Coleman. We'll catch you next week up in Anderson County, hopefully.
Located in Anderson County, just off of I-75 at exit 122, Rocky Top Realty stands ready to give our clients a real estate experience like no other. While we are located in Anderson County, we work in all of Knoxville and the surrounding areas. Our staff will get to know you and your real estate needs. We will work in tandem with you to achieve your forever home, build site, vacation home, or investment goal. Find us online at rockytophomeinfo.com or give us a call at 865-498-0813.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Since 1945, the John H. Coleman Company has been serving the East Tennessee area. We wouldn't have made it for 75 years without the experience and hard work of our quality employees. When it comes to heating and air conditioning, our goal is to make your experience stress-free, whether buying a new unit or servicing your current equipment. The way we do that is making sure you have the information you need to make the right decision. East Tennessee is our home, too. We've proudly served you for 75 years and look forward to serving you for many years to come. John H. Coleman Company, trusted since 1945.
The great ones make the plays. The dedicated ones never quit. Weekend warrior or professional, all athletes get hurt. And when you do, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic's comprehensive sports medicine team is ready to take you on. The power of results.